Welcome to the Activated Story Theater's 152nd or 152th podcast.
This episode we bring you The Fairy Palace, a story from China.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And together we are the
Activated Actors! We are coming to you from Delaware Seashore State Park.
In Delaware by the seashore, in a park.
That belongs to the state.
Yes, we've been really Delawaring like crazy this month.
We're Delaware and Maryland. We've done about almost done Delawaring. We've got about five more
shows left. So we've done 28 in Delaware and 5 in Maryland since July 6th.
Yep. Kind of all crammed in there, and we've been having a lot of fun. Almost every single library in Delaware has been activated, and by the end of July, it will be.
Yes, every public library.
Yes.
For the first time in forever, at least for this month, we have 4 days off. So we decided to camp out by the ocean so we can go to the beach every day.
We've been enjoying some boardwalks. We've got to see Ocean City Boardwalk in Maryland. We got to go to Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk, and we went to Bethany Beach Boardwalk.
So we've been boardwalking like crazy.
We have. We walked on some boards.
We walked on some boards and didn't get bored of boardwalking. No. Ocean City is a particularly nice boardwalk because it has Tremper's Rides, which is a carnival ride.
It's like walking back in time.
Yes, it's been there for some time apparently, and they even have a section of rides for the small children that are apparently very old but well preserved.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It really is like walking back in time. There are rides there that have been, I'm not sure how old they are, but
look like about 50 years.
But very well kept up, and they're still operating instead of just tearing them out and putting something new in there. They have new rides too, but they do a very good job preserving the old ones.
And one thing we had to do was the haunted house ride. It looked so campy, but it was fun.
It was fun, yes.
It was fun. And on the way out here from Arkansas, we did Arkansas last month, you may recall. On the way out here, we passed through Tennessee, and we couldn't resist stopping to see the log cabin where Davy Crockett was born.
We do a whole show on Davy Crockett, and so one of the things we talk about is the log cabin that he was born in, and we actually got to see it, and we had Davy Crockett take his picture right there at the cabin.
And it really is right beside...
Oh my goodness, it is so close
right
to
beside the Nolichucky River.
River.
Just as we say in the show. And we make a little joke about it being a square cabin with round logs.
Or a round cabin with square logs.
But it's actually a square cabin with square logs. Colonel David Crockett was born there in 1786.
Yes, so we did get to see that. So we've been having some fun. We hope you've been having a fun summer. We hope you're getting a lot of swimming in and playing and doing fun things.
And on the 4th of July, we were at a state park in Virginia where we got to see some concrete ships.
Yeah, they were merchant ships built for during World War II when metal was very, very scarce and nobody was allowed to use it. So they made some concrete ships, which I would think would sink, but they didn't.
They didn't. They apparently served very well, and there's a whole fleet of them moored out there about, half a mile from shore maybe?
Yeah, we got kayaks.
And we rented kayaks and kayaked out to them and got a closer look. Very interesting, unusual.
Yeah, very neat. So we got to hike and kayak, and we've been having a good summer.
And we are now ready to throw another folktale your way.
We are. This is a fun folktale. It comes from China, and after the folktale, we'll tell you about some more of our live shows that we have coming up. You can still catch some live shows at some libraries this summer, so stay tuned. This story is called The Fairy Palace, a folktale from China. Long, long ago in China, there lived an old widow and her somewhat younger son. The widow was very skilled at weaving brocades on her loom. She could weave flowers into them that looked so real, they'd make you sneeze. Fruit so real, it set your teeth on edge. Birds so real, they made you cover your head. One day, she took a stack of the brocades to the marketplace and sold them. And as she was leaving, she saw something very interesting. Oh, super! Wow! I've never seen a painted scroll so beautiful in my entire life. Excuse me, sir, but is that scroll for sale?
Ah, Madame has very fine taste in artwork, I see. Yes, of course it is for sale. That is why it is placed in this strategic location in the marketplace to prompt impulse buying.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, of course not. There is nothing like it. It is a painting of the Sun Palace, which they say lies far away to the east and is home to many fairies. That's some of them right there in the corner, strolling through the garden in front of the palace.
Oh, it's just amazing. How much is it?
Ah, for special friend of Rick's, we have a special today. The price is only whatever amount you're carrying with you, not a cent more.
But what I have with me is all that I have anywhere. I just sold a month's worth of brocades to earn it.
But madame, this is not just a work of art. It is a major plot point. If you do not purchase it, you will be missing out on more than you realize.
You're right. I absolutely must have it. My son may not be too happy with me, but he certainly couldn't have painted this himself. And when she got back home, she showed the scroll to her son.
You spent all of our money on this? Well, it is beautiful and all, but you could have at least bought a handful of beans or something. We could have eaten those, but this scroll won't taste good with soy sauce.
You forget that I am known far and wide for my skill in weaving brocades. If I use this beautiful painting on this scroll as my model and weave brocades like it, they will sell like rice cakes. This painting is irresistible.
Apparently so. Very well, it's worth a try, I suppose. We have nothing to lose. Not anymore, we don't.
So the woman set up her loom and began to weave. Every day, all day long, and well into the night, she sat at her loom and wove the first brocade. Her son became very concerned about her.
Mother, don't you think you should rest once in a while? Get up, stretch, do some Tai Chi or something?
No, I can't stop until it's done. This painting is so magical. Looking at it makes me feel like I'm drawn into the scene myself. Oh, it's better than 3D. I can't rest until it's done. This continued for many days and nights. Then one day, the son came into the room and saw that the loom was empty.
There. What's wrong, Mom?
Oh, what's wrong? I finished the brocade.
Oh. Well, then you should be happy, not sad.
Oh, you don't get it. Don't you see that the loom is empty?
Well, yes, but I wasn't going to say anything. I thought maybe you were weaving a new robe for the emperor or something.
Oh, no. I finished the brocade and it was so beautiful. More beautiful than the original, but then a big wind blew through the window and ripped the brocade right off the loom and carried it out the window. Oh!
I guess the wind has good taste in art, too.
Oh, I wish I'd closed that window. Oh, nobody told me there was a forecast of flying brocades. Oh, son, you must go find it for me. I can't live without it. Oh.
That's a bit melodramatic, isn't it?
Oh, please go find it. Oh.
But it could be miles away by now, and I don't even know which direction to go.
Oh, yes, I suppose it's too much to ask. I'm only the one who gave birth to you and nursed you and changed your diapers and worked my fingers to the bone to support you.
I'll leave tomorrow. I'll get my bag packed.
So after finding which way the wind had been blowing, he traveled in that direction, hoping to find some trace of the brocade. But everyone he asked just made fun of him.
Flying brocade, huh? No, but I've seen a purple cow.
Then at last, he came to an old hut out in the woods, and sitting by it was an old woman in an old chair reading an old book.
Hi there, young man. What are you doing out in these old woods?
I'm looking for my mother's new brocade, which she wove with a picture of an old palace on it.
Ah, The one with the picture of the old sun palace on it?
Why, yes. It was carried away by the wind. A freak accident.
No, it was no accident at all. That wind was sent by the fairies who live in that palace. They heard about that brocade, so they decided they wanted to use it to copy in their own weaving.
But my mother really misses it. I'm afraid if she doesn't get it back, she will die of a broken heart. I must go after it. How do I get there?
Oh, you'll never make it on foot. You'd better borrow my horse. It can guide you there. Oh. But be warned, on the way, you must pass through the flames of the mountain of fire, and then across the sea of ice. And you must not complain or cry out in discomfort in either place. If you do, you'll be either burnt to a crisp or frozen solid, depending on your timing. Well, have a pleasant journey.
So he mounted up on the horse and took off. Soon he came to the flaming mountain of fire, and the horse began climbing right up the side of it. It felt very hot, and he could see his eyebrows singeing. But he didn't make a noise until the other side.
Ow!
Then he came to the sea, all covered with ice, and the horse began walking right across it. It was so cold that the sun couldn't stop shivering. But he didn't make a complaint until they reached the other side. And at last he reached the Sun Palace.
Why, it looks just like my mother's brocade. The palace door is open. I suppose that means it's okay to go on in.
So he did. And inside he saw a great hall where dozens and dozens of fairies were sitting at their looms, spinning a brocade. And in the middle of the hall...
My mother's brocade. They're holding it hostage.
Intruder alert! Intruder alert! It's a human! Oh, a human! Oh. What's more, it's a male human. Who are you? What is your business? And how did you find us, given the human male aversion to asking directions?
I came to fetch my mother's brocade. So, you are the son of the mother. We admire you for your courage in coming to find us, but we cannot let you take it back yet. We must finish copying it on our own brocade. But my mother is so heartbroken without it. She will surely die if she doesn't get it back soon. Ow, we can't let that happen.
No, our insurance doesn't cover it.
So what are you going to do? Well, if you will be our guest in the palace tonight, we will stay up all night working on our brocade. And if we call in the leprechauns and pixies and brownies and trolls and gnomes and house elves to help us, maybe we can do the work in one night.
And don't forget Dobby. We need Dobby, too.
Oh, I hate to ask the pixies for a favor. They'll never let us forget it.
And the gnomes. They'll be hanging out in our lawns forever.
But it's the only way to get the job done by the deadline, so we'll just have to put up with them.
And so the fairies called in the reinforcements, and they all worked all night long. Fortunately, the helpers included some elf from way up north, who brought some milk and cookies. The sun tried to stay up and watch the work completed, but everyone moved so fast that trying to follow the action just put him to sleep. And the next morning, the fairies woke him up.
Yoo-hoo! Rise and shine! You have a horse to catch if you're going to make it back to home in time to save your mother.
Is the work all done?
It is indeed. Here's your mother's brocade, special wrap for your journey. We would send it back by wind, but all the wind's being used right now. Parliament is in session.
Well, thank you very much for your hospitality and for giving it back to me.
Oh, thank you for letting us borrow it. Even though you had nothing to do with it and we took it without asking, I just wish.
Yes?
Oh, I wish I could weave as well as your mother. She has a magic that I could never quite duplicate. It would take me years to learn her skills. Say, do you suppose she would teach me if I went back with you?
Well, sure. I think she'd be glad to, especially when she sees what kind of helpers you can summon to get the chores done. But I must warn you, we have to cross a sea of ice and a mountain of fire, and we can't utter a word of complaint about either one.
If you can take it, I can.
So they hopped on the horse and headed back. They crossed the sea of ice.
Is it cool enough for you?
Yes, it's just lovely.
And back across the mountain of fire.
Aren't saunas refreshing?
I'd do one every day if I could.
Until they arrived back home where the widowed mother was waiting. But she wasn't waiting very alertly because she was in a coma near death.
Mother, wake up! I have the brocade back, safe and sound.
Brocade, safe sound. The brocade! You did it! You brought it back! Oh, thank you, son!
And you seem to be all better all of a sudden.
Well, I thought so, but I still must be dying. I see the angel of death there beside you.
Huh? Oh, her. Now, don't let the wings fool you. She's just a fairy.
That's a relief. If I'm going to hallucinate, I guess fairies are harmless enough.
But I'm real. I've come to learn how to weave brocades as beautifully as you do. Could you teach me?
Well, I suppose. I'm not getting any younger, and I should try to pass on my skills to someone else. And my son sure doesn't seem interested. So, the fairy did stay with them, and she did learn how to weave, like the widowed mother. And the son didn't learn how to weave. But he did marry the fairy. And then they had children who also learned how to weave. Maybe some of their children's children are still weaving now.
And that's the story of the Fairy Palace.
From China.
From China. Okay, we have coming up some shows in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Massachusetts.
Yes, we are going to be in Williamsport and Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and both of those shows will be on August 7th at 10:30 in Williamsport, at 2 o'clock in Lewisburg. You're invited to both of them, and we'll be doing Davy Crockett and the Dragon of Krakow at those shows, so come on over.
And August 11th at 11 a.m., Reading, Massachusetts, for the first time ever.
Yay!
Reading, Massachusetts is where they used to have the trapeze school that we went to once. It's not there anymore. But anyway, first time there to perform there at the library.
Yes, and so we learned trapeze there, and now we get to go do some shows there.
Yes.
August 12th, we'll be in Abington, Massachusetts, which is also home to a very famous haunted house called Barrett's Mansion, which, I don't know, maybe a couple of activated actors like to go hang out at when they're not performing on stage and maybe scare people.
They do a wonderful haunted attraction for Halloween, and it's very different every year.
Well, we will be at the library doing shows for the summer reading program on August 12th at 2 o'clock in Abington, Massachusetts.
Monday, August 17th, 2 p.m., Dedham, Massachusetts. I believe this is our first time there at the library. I'm not certain.
It doesn't sound familiar, but we'll be doing Davy Crockett and Dragon of Krakow there. And August, by the way, August 17th is also Davy Crockett's birthday.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Yes, so we have got to do Davy Crockett on Davy Crockett's birthday. August 18th, we will be doing Quincy, Massachusetts at the Thomas Crane Library, one of our favorite libraries. We go back to year after year after year.
Been there many times. It'll be at 10:30 a.m.
Yes, on August 18th. And then August 19th.
August 19th, another new library for us, Belchertown, Massachusetts, the Clapp Memorial Library at 6:30 p.m.
So we have a lot of Davy Crockett's coming up in Massachusetts, but you can see it with either Red Riding Hood or Anansi Goes Fishing or Dragon of Krakow. It seems to be very popular. If you go to our website, you can find out what stories we will be doing at what library. If we know, if the library has chosen, we list that there for you. So come on by a library in Massachusetts or Pennsylvania and see a show. We'll activate you. And then this fall, we are back to doing school programs. So if you've got a school that is interested in having us give us a call or send us an email. The web address is activatedstorytheater.com. Email is activatedstorytheater@gmail.com. And theater is R-E at the end, not E-R if you're doing the email.
Yes, and as we speak, we still do have a few shows left in Delaware.
Yes, we do.
Bethany Beach and Frankfurt on the 29th, and on the 30th we finish up Delaware with Lewis, Smyrna, and Harrington.
So last chance, last call for Delaware. All right, guys. You guys stay activated. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Activated Story Theater is committed to bringing fun, educational shows to schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use physical comedy, American Sign Language, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring multicultural folktales to life. For booking information, check out our website, activatedstorytheater.com, where you can also find out when the activated actors will be performing near you. Read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or listen on Stitcher. We look forward to your comments and folktale suggestions. Stay activated. Until next time.